Hey friends, Hattie here with Honeybee Stampers. Today I am doing the video tutorial for the March 2023 Sweet and Simple card class. We created 6 beautiful cards for this class, and this is the opportunity for me to put them together and share them with those of you who ordered the kits to go. So I hope you guys received your kits already and that you're enjoying them. The next Sweet and Simple card class is going to be April 22nd. So make sure that you register. The registration's already open. So the first card that we're going to feature is this one right here, which is the Queen Bee bundle. And I love this bundle, and I was so happy that Stampin' Up! Decided to carry it over into the next catalog season or catalog offering. But it is not going to be available in the catalog. It's actually going to be available as a online purchase only. So I'm happy either way, as long as they kept it. So your kit is going to look like this, and we will just put these cards together. I try to create them as simply as I can, and if there is product that you see that I'm using that you don't have and that you want, you can always reach out to me or just shop directly on my online store. There will be a link in the comments section below. But of course, I try to create these designs so that you can use product that you already have if you don't have what I'm using. So just remember that, and don't feel stressed at all if your card doesn't look like mine. I'm sure you're going to be really creative and it's going to be gorgeous. So we're just going to take this layer here and we're going to stamp this beautiful flower image. We're using Night of Navy ink, and the card base is actually one of my favorites that's retiring. It's called Sahara Sand. So I'm going to stamp right down there. There we go. And then it's got this great image here that looks kind of like a, I don't know, an old typeset. Let's see, we're going to stamp this right in this area. Right up there. Isn't that so pretty already? And then we've got this bee here, and when you take a look at it, it's not a solid bee. It's got some, it's almost like speckled in a way, as if they kind of just created it using the tip of a pen. So I've already stamped that on a scrap piece of paper that you're going to have included. That's also Sahara Sand, and I die cut it because there are dies that coordinate with it. So there's the bee right there. And let's apply the card together. So you see how easy that's come together, right? So we'll just add some adhesive to the back of this and put it on the Night of Navy layer. And then to place this on the card base, I use Stampin' Dimensionals, so we'll bring those in. If you wanted to put a dimensional in the middle, you absolutely could. Okay, and we're going to make sure the card opens in the right direction. And let's place that right there. Gosh, I just love the way that looks. There's just something about it. So like I said, the Sahara Sand paper, which means the ink and everything that coordinates with it, is going away. Makes me so sad. It's such a great neutral color. And if you want it, you're gonna want to shop as soon as possible to get it, because a lot of things are selling out. So we'll stick that bee right down there. Okay. And then in your kit, you're going to see some of these little gems here. These gems are also retiring. And these are some of my favorite. These were some of my favorite gems to use. But we'll just, let's see, we'll stick this one up here. And then let me see if I could just, that would be so much easier if I use this tool the way it was designed. There we go. Okay, so that first card is complete, and you see how easy that was? So fun, so beautiful. And of course you could decorate the inside. I did do a little stamping on the inside of this one. I used the happy birthday here. So you can definitely do that if you choose. So there's that card. Let's move this out of the way. And grab our next card. So this next card features the Lighting the Way bundle, which is these dies and the stamp set. So the stamp set is very pretty and I love the sentiments, but the dies, look at this die right here. You just cannot not have this die. This bundle is also carrying over, so I'm very happy about that. Let me grab the kit. So your card kit will look like this. And you can see that all the die cutting has been done for you. So if you ever get a kit of mine to go, you can almost just put everything together. And then if you don't have that sentiment, you can just choose a sentiment that you do have and voila, you're in business. Okay, so here's our card base. This Evening Evergreen, beautiful green, is retiring. I'm very sad about that because I love that color. It's such a rich, beautiful color, especially for the holidays. And then this will go on the inside of the card. Make sure I did that right, or was I supposed to use that? I think, yeah, that goes on the inside. Sorry. That goes on the inside of the card. Sometimes I forget when I design these so far in advance, and then I, go to do my video and I'm having to remind myself. So this paper right here, this is beautiful paper. And I really should know this off the top of my head because I actually demonstrated this suite of products at our onstage with Stampin' Up! In Florida. So this paper is it's a 6x6 paper pack that is part of the, gosh, it'll come to me. Sorry guys. But you're gonna get a little strip here of crushed curry that coordinates with this paper, and then you're just going to add some adhesive to the back, and we're gonna just almost extend this layer by adding that like so. And then I can see that I didn't maybe cut it exactly perfectly. And if that's the case, you could always take some paper snips. Let me see if I have any on my desk. I do. And you could always trim it down if you wish. Okay, so I'm just gonna trim it just a little bit so it's not so obvious right there. And then we're gonna place this on the card front, giving it a little bit of a border at the top. And this is another opportunity for you to trim down if you wish. Okay, there. So you see that's kind of sticking out on the end there. So that's a simple solution here, simple fix. It's gonna drive me nuts to not know the name of this paper. Let me just look really quick. It's called, it's this paper right here. Okay. It'll come to me. I think it'll come to me. Okay, so there's that. Now you're gonna have these pieces here, and you're gonna take this vellum piece, and this is what I told the attendees of the class, is that they just were to take the crushed curry and the blending brush that I had, and on one side of this vellum, they could kind of just make a little circular motion there to give the illusion of light, okay? And then when you flip it over, you could take this stamp that's part of the stamp set, ink it up. What I did was I kind of had an idea as to where this was going to land. Wanted it in the center of it. There we go. So that's how I did that piece. Okay, now for this, I'm going to set this to the side because it's vellum, it needs just a minute to dry. And I'm going to take these handles of the lantern. So this was done by die cutting this out in our copper foil and then die cutting just this portion of it in black to give it just a look of like wrought iron maybe. So we're gonna put a little of liquid adhesive there. And you'll see that it just lines up perfectly. And then you can do it on the other side as well. Okay. I just think this lantern is so beautiful. Okay, now to put the lantern on my card, what I'm gonna do is put it on the vellum first, because I'm gonna use the lantern as a guide to where to put the adhesive on the back of the vellum. So I'm gonna, let me move this paper so you guys can kind of see it a little better. So I'll place it like this, okay? And then let me grab some of my dimensionals. I should have just put the dimensionals on first, but we'll put some dimensionals on here in some of these areas. Okay. You could put some dimensionals on the sides too. We have those foam strips that are perfect for, or they're really designed for shaker cards, but those would fit perfectly on the sides if you wanted to add some dimensionals there. Okay, so I will place this over the vellum and bring it up a little bit so that my flame is in there. Okay, there we go. Now when I flip this over, now I can see exactly where I want to add the adhesive, so it doesn't show through on the other side. Okay, and that'll work. Now we can take this piece and place it here. I definitely breathed a sigh of relief. Oops, I put a little bit too much adhesive there and you can kind of see it spilling through, but you guys get the point, right? I was a little heavy-handed there. Okay, so I definitely was so relieved when I found out that this die here from the Scalloped Contours was carrying over. I was gonna be one sad sister if it didn't. So now we're gonna take these little pieces that make our firefly. I just think this is so cool. And if you looked online, you probably have seen like a bazillion different options for this. So I'm gonna place a little bit of adhesive here. And a way to avoid having that happen, like what I just had happen, is to place just a glue dot behind there. Then when you put it on, the glue won't just smear for you. Okay, so we're gonna stick this on right there. Okay. And then we'll add a little adhesive here. I forgot to turn on my do not disturb, and I've been getting a few messages, so hopefully it's not canceling out my audio. Okay. Oops. Give that glue a second to set. All right, there we go. So to save time, I won't go through the process of embossing the sentiment, because I think you guys know how to do that. But you can emboss that sentiment or any sentiment that you wish. You're gonna have a little strip of basic black to be able to do that. And when I was designing this card, I originally had taken the blending brush, and I went over and colored the white embossing powder yellow, just to kind of see how that would look, if it would add to it or anything. Yeah, it didn't look good. So I left that out. And we're gonna just stick this lantern on here. Okay. And then our, whatever this thing is called, our firefly. I remember when I was growing up and how magical catching these fireflies were. That was so much fun. Oh man, that was a long time ago. And I feel like I don't think I've seen a firefly in a long time, to be honest, when I think about it. I grew up in Michigan. Well, my dad was Navy, so we moved a lot, but the majority of my life was in Michigan. And definitely fireflies there, but when I think about it now, I just can't remember the last time I've seen a firefly. Anyway, so we're gonna put the sentiment on here, and then you're gonna stick it on your card, and you can trim it down. You know, so if it says just thank you or something like that, of course you could trim it down. You'll get an extra little piece like this, and this piece is just to be decorative. You could do whatever you want on the inside. It was just an extra piece, so I thought I'd throw it in there. Okay, so that's the second card. I need to remember to put these cards somewhere where I can find them quickly, because I always spread my stuff out and then I can't remember where I put it. Okay, So let's set this card. I'm going to stick all the cards right here. Move this out of the way. Okay, and now we're on to our third card. You guys are moving right along. Okay, here's our third card. I was so happy to find out that they were going to be keeping this color right here. So this is one of the in colors that would retire. It's the, my brain. Oh my gosh, it is Fresh Freesia. I should know that because I love this color, and I was so happy when they decided to keep it instead of retiring it. The Watercolor World, this is a stamp set that's actually also carrying over, which made me happy. Now, Greatest Journey, I don't think this stamp set's carrying over. I think this is retiring, if my memory serves me correctly. I still have yet to go through my whole catalog and mark up all the things that are retiring and what's on sale and what's carrying over. And when I do, I will definitely go live and share kind of a catalog walkthrough of that. So we're going to do this card right here. Oh, I just love these colors together. So this is another simple card. Let me just fold this card base to get that out of the way. Okay. Now I will have already had this embossed for you. This is one of the new embossing folders that's called the Basic. I think it's called Basics Embossing Folder, 3D Embossing Folder. And they've sold out, but they are coming back. So stay tuned for that. You're not going to want to miss it. If you didn't get these three, you're going to want them. I did use, let's see, I did use one of the other ones on one of the cards, so I'll show that to you. But I love these embossing folders, so don't miss that opportunity to get that. So this is what we're using there. And then I'm just trying to get myself sorted out. This is going to be the piece that goes on the inside of your card. And this is going to be the one that you stamp on. So in class, somebody actually stamped on this piece and they're like, gosh, something feels off about this. So we're going to use this smaller piece here. We're going to take our map stamp. We're just going to ink it up with this Fresh Freesia. And this stamp set is, what is it called? It's photorealistic. So it is distinctive. That's the word. You guys, my son has been super sick these past couple weeks. And so I've been sleeping with him downstairs and he and I are not getting any sleep. So I can't think of anything right now. Okay, so let's, I can't think straight, I should say. So we're just going to kind of hover. I just wanted as much of this to show as possible. And we're going to stamp down. So I just love the variation and the shading. It just looks so good. Okay. And then we're going to take the Starry Sky ink pad. Now this is an in color that's got one more year to go before it's on the chopping block. So enjoy the Starry Sky because it goes really well with this color. Okay. And then I'm going to just stamp it right there. Wishing you joy in this next adventure. I felt like this was a perfect sentiment to go with this map. I just love stamping. I don't know about you guys, but this is just so relaxing to me, and I just love it. So let's put this together. I put this layer on directly onto the card instead of using dimensionals. I just wanted that little bit of texture with a frame around it. And then this paper right here, this paper is so pretty. This paper is part of the suite of products that this came with, the Greatest Journey. So check this out because it's just gorgeous. I think this might be called Enjoy the Journey or something like that, but it's beautiful paper. The dies that go along with it are, oh my gosh, amazing. I have to check and see if this is retiring. I'm pretty sure the sentiments are, but maybe the dies aren't. I don't know. I need to spend some time looking at the catalog and figure that out. Okay, so this is just going to layer on there like that. And then I did pop these up with dimensionals, these layers here. So we'll just add a few of the little ones. Actually, let's use the big ones. Oh my gosh, this card could not have been easier, but so pretty. So the Sweet and Simple card class that I'm doing for this month is actually going to be featuring things that are, for the most part, retiring. Okay, because I want to get one more opportunity to use that product. And I'm hoping I'll kind of pay attention to inventory status and make sure that I'm not using something that's just going to absolutely sell out. The last time we had a Sweet and Simple card class where it was right, between a catalog transition, that's what happened. Stuff just kept selling out. People would get excited about it. They'd make the card and then they'd be like, darn it, I can't get it. But you definitely, like I said, you definitely can take these pieces and stamp something completely different and it will still be beautiful. So there's that card, so simple. Okay, put a sample right there and then tuck this away. And let's get out card number 4. Okay, so here's card number 4. If you guys watched my happy hour with Honeybee Stampers on Wednesdays, I have shown these cards the last 2 Wednesdays just to kind of like the first time was to let people know about the class, and then this most recent time was yesterday, and I just kind of showed off some of the product again. But this is a beautiful paper that's an online exclusive, so you can get this paper just by going online. They're trying to show people how to go online and shop a little bit more, because I mean, people are online shopping like crazy. But Stampin' Up! Originally, almost 35 years ago, started with like a home-based business where people were placing the orders, demonstrators were placing the orders for their customers. And now they're trying to kind of bring it up to speed a little bit and allow people to shop online, still get the demonstrator experience, but also shop online in the comfort of their own home. So I love that. So they're going to have exclusive product that you can only see online, and this is one of them. And then here is another one of those embossing folders. Let me bring it up a little close so you can see it. There's the second pattern with this basic pattern. So it's this one, and then there's dots. So yes, you guys will see me using this a lot over the next year. So be sure that you get your own embossing folders when they come back in. Okay, so let's get this card put together. Here we go. Now something that I'm kind of kicking around and thinking about doing is offering a monthly card club. I've done them in the past, and then I kind of came away from it. And then I got the studio, and I was thinking, the way that it would look is that we would have a card class, like a club to go. You most likely would make 8 cards, so 4 different cards, 2 of each. And then you would get product included with it as well. It would be a monthly subscription. You could, drop in and buy it, this month or that month or whatever, but it's just a little bit more if you do it that way versus subscribing. And then you will get all kinds of perks. So if a monthly card kit or club from me is something that you would be interested in, please leave that in the comments below so I can see what the interest would be. And then I will offer the class for people to be able to pick it up here in studio as well and be able to put the projects together right here in the studio. So it'll cater to people who are local, but then you'll also have an opportunity to still participate even if you don't live local to me or you can't come to a club date. So I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I've already embossed this piece for you. So you'll find that in your kit. Now with the prices going up, when you see the new catalog, you'll see that there have been some catalog price increases, and also there's been shipping increases and just increases all around. I will be looking at my Sweet and Simple card class and probably applying a little bit of an increase there to help me cover the cost of some of these other changes that are happening. So it won't be much. It won't be much, but just so you know, so that I can still stamp and keep the lights on in here and all that kind of stuff, you will see a price increase not with this Sweet and Simple card class, but with next month's. So not this month's, yes, next month's. Okay, so there's that. So you see how I lifted it up a little bit, just to give it a little bit more dimension. I mean, the dimension's there with the embossing folder, but I wanted to use the dimensionals as well. All right, and then we've got this heart, so cute. And then, there we go. And then my helper here and friend, Becky, she tied all these bows for you guys. I appreciate her so much and her help putting these kits together. So you'll get a chance to see that. Now, I won't do the embossing for this because I think you guys get the embossing piece, but the stamp set that I used is called Happy Labels. I don't remember if this is retiring or not, I'd have to look, but it coordinated with this punch. So this punch, let me see if I can get the lighting just right there, maybe there. Okay, so you see how it has some different edges there. One's kind of almost looks like a ticket, and the other one is scalloped. So you can do that if you'd like, or you could leave it flat. You can see how I did that there. So I used the scallops on this one. Let's use the ticket. So how it would work is you always, you know, you can lock your ink, your punches like that, and then pull it down to open it up. Okay, and then you'll take your paper, and what I recommend is, if you do have this, that you slide your paper in. They've got three different wells here, so that you've got different measurements that you could use and where it would hold it nicely. Okay, so you're gonna put it in like that. So I think it's like 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch, something along those lines. So then I always like to flip it over and look on this side, make sure that the edge is lined up perfectly with that edge, and then punch. Now, once I've punched it, so this is what the ticket edge looks like, right? So you can see the difference there, maybe. And then once I've done that, then I would go in and heat emboss my sentiment. Then after I've heat embossed my sentiment, you'll see this is the amount that's trimmed off the edge when you punched it, right? So when I put my sentiment down, I am going to go in, and you know what, instead of me, let me just do it. Wouldn't that be helpful? So we're gonna take some Versamark, and I chose the sentiment, you've got the biggest heart. And that's why I added that little heart there, so cute. Okay, so we're going to just stamp this. Let me give it a little space so I can put my ribbon. And then I've got some gold embossing folder here. Close this up. And there. We're gonna shimmy and shake that around. Knock off some of the excess. Okay, you see, there's that. I should have used my embossing buddy to make sure that I didn't have any little flecks anywhere. And I do see a little bit of it. And did you guys know that this putty is helpful to getting some of the excess flecks off that you don't want on your, okay, anyways, I won't be too fussy about this. Let me do that. Let me heat this really quick and come right back. Okay, so you see here, there's the sentiment. Look at, oh my gosh, I just love embossing. Look at how beautiful that is. And it just, so shiny. Okay, so this is what I meant about trimming it, because your piece is gonna be longer than you need it to be. And so I had mentioned that this little piece, that's how much, right? That's gonna be cut off. So if you can kind of use that as an idea there, then what I would do is I would just trim right about there. Try to trim it as straight as possible. And then I'm gonna take it and feed it back in here. Flip it over. So I didn't trim it perfectly straight, but that's okay. This well will hold it perfectly straight for me. And then there we go. And that's how you get that beautiful sentiment in any size sentiment, so it's great. Okay, so now that I've done that, let's add our heart. Love this heart. And then I am going to pop this sentiment up. So I need dimensionals on one side. So we'll put a dimensional here and a dimensional here. Whenever I'm creating videos, I'm always like overly concerned, I think, that maybe I am talking too much or talking too long. So I try to be as succinct as possible. But I'm glad that I didn't just explain this one, that I just went ahead and created it. Okay, so I'm just gonna put there. So I had some adhesive right here, and then these are dimensionals on this side to allow it to kind of be flush and kind of fit there perfectly. Okay, now whenever I have ribbon or twine or something, love glue dots. Glue dots are your friend. They just hold the best. Okay, so we're just gonna add that right down here in the corner. And this sweet and simple card, I couldn't be more proud of this card. I try to photograph it, but you just can't photograph how pretty that is. Now this paper is so cool because it's got the gold foil, I believe there's a copper foil pattern, and then there's also silver. And the really neat thing is that you can color and change it to any color that you want. So just gorgeous. I mean, I feel like I need to just stock up on this pattern, or the whole, you know, the whole grouping of them, the DSP, specialty DSP, so that I have it, because this would be perfect for a wedding too, wedding cards. All right, so here's that. Let me stick one up here and then one, let's put away. Okay, we have 2 more cards. I spent a little bit more time on that one than I had thought I would. Let's do this card next. This one's sweet and simple also. So Shaded Summer, this one's retiring, and you guys, I have a wonderful class that I need to post and go live. I've kind of talked about it before, but it features the stamp set. If you like this at all, please stay tuned. Let me know if you're interested, because I have just a select handful of these card classes to go in. Anyways, you'll see. Make sure you're following me on Facebook, on Honeybee Stampers, my Facebook page, or on this YouTube channel, because that's where you're going to see a lot of these classes. Or if you go to honeybeestampers.com and you go to Honeybee Happenings, that's where I post my classes and events. All right, so Shaded Summer. Grab this one. This is Calypso Coral paper. And this gorgeous paper, goodness. This is retiring, and it's super duper on sale, you guys. I think it's only like $6 or $8, something like that. I'm gonna stick this on here. And you're gonna have a piece that goes on the inside of your card, and then you're gonna have this layer here. So let's put this stamp together. So with it, you've got 2 stamp sets here, and I ended up layering them together, and you can do them separately and they look fantastic, or you can put them together. So we'll start with the bottom stamp. If you love this stamp set, like, don't order it yet, because you can get it with my class. So stay tuned for that. I promise you that information is going to come out this, like, really soon. There we go. Now I'm just going to kind of angle it a little bit, and I'm going to stamp here. Okay. And then I'm going to take the second stamp. I'm just going to stamp up towards this right corner, like that. And it overlaps, I mean, it touched just a tiny bit, and it will blend. It'll blend and look great. So this stamp set has just an array of fantastic sentiments. So you're going to want this Shaded Summer. If you are interested in this class that I'm going to offer, you know, before you see it, you just want to let me know that you're interested, because I only have, like I said, a select number of kits. Please reach out to me right away and let me know so I can put you on the list. Okay, so I'm going to put Love You Friend on one of these little dies from the Stylish Shapes, this little banner. You are going to get an extra piece of this paper just because it was something I had extra left over, and I thought it'd be fun for you to put that on the inside of the card. And then we're going to put this on using Stampin' Dimensionals, and this card is essentially done. We're just going to jazz it up with some rhinestones, and you're good to go. Okay. Place that right there. And then I decided to go ahead and add dimensionals to the sentiment as well. The card was pretty basic, so I felt like all this dimension just was perfect. It wasn't over the top. We're just going to place it across the bottom here. Okay, and let me see here. I don't feel my, oh, there they are. Haha. People say that all the time in class. They're like, I don't have my gems. And we're like, check your envelope. It's probably in there. And I just did the same thing. So I'm just going to stick these little rhinestones there. Put one here. And then one here. And that card is all done. And I actually did do this same card in 3 different colors, and they all turn out just absolutely gorgeous. So there's that. Okay, and if you check my videos, like my happy hour, I think I've shown it there. All right, guys, we got 1 card left. 1 card left. And this card is this one. Love this one. So I'm happy to say that this bundle is also carrying over, so we don't have to worry about having to say goodbye to these cute little animals. It's called the Playing in the Rain stamp set. And here are the dies, and the paper is gorgeous. Make sure you get a pack of that paper before it retires. Simply Fabulous is the sentiment that we use for this. This is a great stamp set as well, and I can't remember if this is retiring or not. So just kind of check that out. It's called Simply Fabulous. And I did use a Stamparatus on this, and I know if you guys are Stampin' Up! Enthusiasts at all, then you are just as heartbroken as I am that the Stamparatus has been discontinued and has sold out, because it is an awesome tool. An awesome tool. So here's the card kit that you're going to use for this. Let's just fold this card base and set that to the side as well. Okay. Dump out all my little pieces here. Okay, so what I used the Stamparatus for was just to make a really bold, dark sentiment. That's pretty much the whole reason. I love that. I mean, there's so many things you can do with Stamparatus, but that's what I did for this class, and it also positions it perfectly for my customers who come in person. So I'm just inking it up, and this is the layer that's going to go on the card base. So You Are Simply Fabulous. So you see how that's a little bit light, right? We want to be able to stamp that again. I hope that you guys are, whoever's watching this, I hope you guys had a Stamparatus purchased already. There, You Are Simply Fabulous. You see it's getting darker. Let's do one more layer. Let's see here. Can you see the difference? Maybe you can see the difference. I can. Ink it up. And just, I feel like that's good. We'll leave it at that. Okay. Like this. Okay. You're going to have a white piece that goes on the inside of your card. This is a basic black piece that's been embossed with a new like raindrops embossing folder, and that is carrying over, I believe. We're just going to center that on here so that you've got a nice border around it and between it and the sentiment. Okay. And then this is some of the paper that came with the suite of products for Playing in the Rain. And it's got a really cool, I think they called it UV coating. I'd never heard of that before, but that's just really cool, right? It looks like clear embossing to me, but that's what they called it. I loved it. So we'll do that. And make sure my raindrops are kind of going the right direction. I just place this across the center. Okay, now we're gonna stamp our cute little fox. I'm gonna stamp him in Memento black ink because we're gonna use Stampin' blends. And when you use Stampin' blends, this is the ink that you need and want to use so that it doesn't pull the color. All right, we're just gonna there we go. And then there was this little stamp, and what I totally should do is mask his feet so that the puddle doesn't go over his feet like they did in my sample, but I'm gonna be lazy and not do that. So I'm just gonna kind of put this puddle, let me see where it's at here. Just gonna put that puddle. Ah, I did it right there. That worked. So you can see on this one, I stamped it like over his little foot. Anyways. Okay, let's get to coloring here. So for this little fox, I used Balmy Blue ink, and let's see. So I like to take the darker ink and kind of do the outline. I'm doing it very sloppy. I would take my time with this, definitely, if I was coloring this on my own, but and then I like to take the lighter color and then come in and kind of blend that, shade it, blend it, however you want to call it. And I will go back in again with the darker color and give some more dimension again. So you can see, like I would go back in and say, you know, just kind of like highlight that a little bit if I wanted to. So you can see that light and dark in there. Now with the fox, what I did was I took, and I don't know if I have, I think this is the color we used. Okay, so this was Stampin' Up! 400. So if you have the Stampin' blends and you have the skin tones, this is 400. And so I just kind of took and lightly, oops, I think I used this to do it. So this one is ivory, and I just kind of did a little swoop like that to separate his face a little bit. Okay. Now, once I did that, then I came in with that Stampin' Up! 400 and colored them all in. And then, you know, with the Balmy Blue, I said use the dark and then the light, right? You can actually, once that dries a little bit, you can go back in and add with the same color to get that very similar effect where you're kind of outlining something to make it stand out. And then you can add it again if you wanted to. And then I just kind of colored his tail this color on the bottom, and then the ivory on the top. Okay, so sad about this color going. This is that Mango Melody. Oh, I just love this color, and I didn't like start falling in love with it and playing with it until recently, and now it is going away. Okay, so you get the point there, right? So then you're going to color him all in, and then you will add, I added this onto the card base with dimensionals, added this on with dimensionals, and then I decorated him up with these gems. All right, so let's bring all 6 of the cards back in. I hope you guys enjoyed that video tutorial. I hope it was helpful to you, especially those of you who purchased this kit to go. So here are the cards. They're so simple, right? And so pretty. And I always like to do a variety of cards when I do my Sweet and Simple. So that card club that I had mentioned earlier, that is going to be a club where I'm going to be featuring one bundle. So you're going to get kind of some coordinating projects with it. Whereas Sweet and Simple card class is just a variety. It gives you an opportunity to touch and feel and play with different product if you come in person, or even, you know, if you're a happy shopper and you just want to be able to put some quick cute cards together, then you'll be able to do that with these kits. All right, guys, remember the April 22nd Sweet and Simple card class registration is open, so definitely register for that, and I hope to create with all of you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.